acquire customers directly. So there are a lot of companies which go to customers directly. I'm not sure how relevant it will be, but I'll try to see, if you can pick up some relevant point which could be useful for you here, which you can. I also have a colleague here who was in PNG and he's sitting as a IFA, so he can augur with me. Okay, the first and foremost, if I start with FMCG, which is basically a channel driven. I'm sure most of you have channel. Basically, you may have branches opened in places, and the way we in channel really acquire customer is we just expand geographies. We kind of do census. We look at towns, geographies, societies, buildings, areas which are not covered, which are not yet in our horizon of coverage, and we just go and tap them because that's a mass. Products are not as expensive as lakhs and fewer. It's a 10 rupee product, 5 rupee product. So in FMCG, for example, what we do is we try to map geographies, and whichever is in our area, we try to go and cover that to acquire new customers. Now, similar mapping can be done to this kind of industry also. Now, how do we do a mapping in this kind of industries? I typically call it as fishbone exercise. Now, how do I use a fishbone exercise? If you all remember, a fish has one long bone and a lot of side bones. So you really start, to acquire customers. You look at each of the sub bones as a branch and say, okay, this is my school friends, this is my college friends, this is my Rotary friend, these are my society friends, these are my ex-clients. So you try to go and map in each one of them to see whether I have potential client in any of these. Are there any potential possibilities of somebody going to introduce me or me going to talk to somebody? And because there is some connection because of the fishbone arrangement, they're all connected to me in some way or the other. That could be one way of looking. I'm not sure if this is possible, because in life we have many sphere of influence. We have lot of compartments in our life. We have families, relatives, wives, relatives, our friends, friends, relatives, friends, relatives. You can just make a fishbone and try to sit. It's like doing fishing. If you have to do fishing, where will you do? Will you do fishing anywhere, or where you think you are likely to get most likely to get a customer? You'll probably do it in an area where you'll have lot of customers. I was talking to my friend Ravi yesterday, who is here. Now he's also talked of fishbone indirectly. He says if he has to do fishing, I'm talking of acquiring brand new customers. You probably go to where are people who are going to invest in financial products going to be? They're going to be in corporate offices. So you just do a cold calling in corporate offices. The biggest fear in most of us in doing cold calling is that the fear of rejection. We say, if we go, the chances are that we may not get a chance to get in, we may not get a chance to talk to somebody. But if you have finished all your avenues, then cold calling is one of the best avenues. If you do a right kind of fishing, and you do a cold calling, why you should do a cold calling? Simple reason is that we assume that the person who is already providing services to that group, he is providing a great service and he is happy. For all we know, 99.9% most customers are unhappy with their current supplier or vendor. Now, if we take a chance, we are at least there in the visibility. We are there. We may not get today business, but if we just position ourselves there that we are there, the next available chance we may get. That we do in a lot of companies where we have direct customer selling. Like for example, a company called PCIES, which is into selling to a lot of corporates and HR managers. We have to take cold calls as a chance. And cold call is not a bad option. If you have exhausted all the other, you have done your referrals, your current customers have given. Definitely I would agree that referrals is the best way of getting from existing customers. But since as an additional strategy, all of the speakers talked about focusing on the current customers and getting more out of that, that is undoubtedly the best way. I have not asked for a single customer anywhere. I have got customers I didn't have to acquire. That is the best way of getting it. But if you have exhausted all that, then the new customers can be done through fishbone or what exercise which I suggested.
Thank you, sir. I have taken a very good valid point from you. One is the referral and cold call. Cold call, I like to share with you one thing with you here is, See, one of my friend who is an IFA from Chennai, I'd like to name him also here, one Mr. Ashish Golicha. He's a young, energetic boy of 28 years old. He started you asked me whether any of his family member is the mutual fund or any other agent. No, all are in textile business. He has come from textile business. His father, everything, this guy completed his MBA and he came into the industry in the challenging time when the load is vanished away. When he came, I've shared with him how you are able to do. He has acquired lot of HNI clients. I've asked him, see, you don't have contacts, Ashish, how you are able to achieve so many HNI clients? You are having, his kitty is, he don't, right now, most of 80 to 85%, always it is 20-80 formula, 80% of his clients are HNI clients. I asked him, Ashish, what is the success story behind it? Ashish said, sir, when I completed MBA, I don't have any work. I've taken up this mutual fund agency. I went to the posh areas. And I put it in a cover. I've written a detailed this thing and approach each and every house in that posh area. When I approach 20 to 25 houses per day, I used to get call from those people. 2 will respond to that. Out of the 25, 2 to 4 we will get a response. I go meet them because what we IFAs do is we go and meet only the people who are in the smaller range or middle range, who are in the upper range, like Mr. Uday. We never go and meet him. What we do is we think that, okay, he will be having somebody who's close to his heart and comfortable, he will deal only with that. So those people we are missing. We are not approaching them. So approach to the top of the ladder is not there. He started that and he was successful in that. People started calling him when he went there. This guy started asking them, sir, what are all your investment? They revealed their investment. Believe me or not, 95 to 98% is bank deposits. That's what they had, and huge chunk of money lying in their SB account. I don't know how the wealth management team missed it. Beautiful money, long money, huge money is lying in their SB accounts too. So this kind of valid point, I appreciate that, sir. The cold call is also maybe a successful one. And I liked taken one more point from your friend Ravi here. You spoke about your friend. I know Mr. Ravi very well. Mr. Ravi is a person who can sell sand in Rajasthan, Thar Desert. Very clever guy. So I think you have quoted a very nice...
I happened to meet him yesterday for the first time.
First time, but I met him, the first time I met itself, I understood he started selling something to me also. That's so nice. Very clever person. I appreciate. Ravi, you can pull your hand up so everybody see who is the person who can sell sand in Rajasthan. Okay, now the second googly to Mr. Uday. It seems customer acquisition has become difficult and costly. What should IFA keep in mind in these challenging times? That is, how can he acquire, what is the value add he can give, and how he can acquire the new customer.
Okay, I think a few things, and I'll relate to my days as a wealth manager. It was the beginning of my career in financial services at Deutsche Bank. I put myself in the shoes of the client. How would I like to get treated? What is it that I'm looking for? And is my advisor or or whoever it is that is advising me on whatever it is that I may need, is he meeting all my needs, or is he offering something which his organization wants to sort of push? And that is what I did was I looked at a set of customers which the bank already had. And the initial meeting was introducing myself and just talking about him, not about myself, but talking about him, getting to know the client. I think as an IFA, as an entrepreneur, as a person who is, and I won't use the word selling, because what you're offering is an intangible. You can't touch it, you can't see it, you can only feel it, or you can only experience it. You're giving, you're selling, you're offering an experience. And I think that is what is the most critical element in this entire process of client, of the first meeting and subsequent meetings, the client experience, and that is what is going to create that human element in the whole relationship. So I think what I thought and which worked for me was acting as a coach. I never offered products. I told him that this is what we could do, and then we debated and arrived at a solution where the client was involved in arriving at the solution. So when you have the client's buy-in is when you know that you are going to be successful, and he will trust you because he is in the decision himself. So stepping outside and then looking in, what is it that I can do? Can I step into the client's shoes? How is it that I want to be treated? What is it that we would expect for ourselves is the same expectation that needs to be transmitted to the client. Listening skills. As salespeople, we like to talk a lot. I think very important is listening skills. That will actually help you become solution-oriented rather than product-oriented. Extremely critical in our scope of financial services. There was a survey which was done several years back. This was client survey. Clients were asked whether they were happy with their advisors. Most of them said they weren't too happy. So then the next question was, why were you not happy? The answer, which surprised most advisors, was that the clients saw very little of their advisor. And when the advisor was asked, why is it that the clients are saying they're not seeing enough of you? Because the advisors were busy trying to pick the best products for their clients. So I think face time with the client, 80%, which was being spent on back office related issues or product selection and so on and so forth, and only 20% face time with clients needed to get reversed. And that is the critical element in the whole advisor and client relationship.
For that only now next advisor is there. No more 80% back office work, only 10% back office work, 90% is client meeting. I hope everybody will agree with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Customers to understand his needs and having a discussion with him on his needs. Is it really a dialogue that is happening, or the customers really look for a ready-made solution? My observation most of the time, customers look for a ready-made solution from you without really looking at the discussion point. Is it really right, or what is your experience?
Yeah, I can, I think what the customer is looking is for a solution. He's not looking for a ready-made solution because every customer's needs are different. He's looking at a tailor-made solution. And, I think there was talking about alliances, and Next Advisors is a platform where all of you have come together. Can we as a platform, can we as individuals become a source of excellence in a particular field? And that excellence can then be used or shared between everyone else. So, for example, maybe someone here has qualified as a lawyer, but hasn't really practiced law, but that can come into use. Can you become a source of excellence for the rest of the group? Maybe someone is a chartered accountant. So does tax issues become part of a solution, and can therefore everyone leverage on it? There is someone who's, as a chartered accountant, trust services, writing up a will. These are real requirements today. We're living in a very dynamic world, in a changing world, in a world where there's enough stress. And therefore, we are looking at solutions, not ready-made, because then that that appears as a product push and not a solution which has been arrived at by both parties. A solution that is arrived at by both parties and you have the buy-in of the client is then a solution which he will not question you in future and will be happy to execute as per that solution. Whether it is insurance, maybe someone here is an insurance expert, someone's a good in formation of trusts, so succession planning, chartered accounts, for your tax reasons or other reasons. So this is a forum where you can form these or forge these alliances and use centers of excellence to offer to your clients. And when you bundle these things together, you are that one-stop solution provider for your client.
Thank you, Mr. Shankar. And now we are going back to Mr. Vipul again. Now it is a half spin, no googly. Yeah? Where do you think the next round of growth come from? Whether it is from geography-wise or product-wise or distribution network-wise?
See, good question. I would like to say that it's a simple thing where it is both in the existing centers as well as the new geographies. Products are really not the focus. Products will come as a result. So geography is definitely will expand as the financial literacy grows, as we keep on talking about these products. We've seen that as the GDP of a country grows, the percentage of household assets into managed solutions like mutual funds or insurance products grows substantially. And India is one of the largest growing markets in the world. So the products are a result. They will follow as the growth of the economy of the population happens. So I think they will definitely happen in all the geographies, whether existing or newer geographies.
Distribution network part?
See, distribution network is again, which is a response to the requirement. You will have innovative methods of distribution. You will have worldwide, a company like ours, we do study what are the distribution networks in other countries. Platforms or fund supermarkets are something which are growing very, very fast in all the developed markets. Take it in Australia, take it in Hong Kong, take it in Singapore, take it in a UK. I think these are days where you need to be efficient in terms of logistics and distribution so that the maximum amount of your time is spent in front of the customer. You have all these pieces of information at the tip. Ultimately, you have to have the discussion with the customer. You have to hold his hand. You have to understand his need, and then together arrive at a solution. But I think these platforms and distribution networks are something which are definitely the way forward. And we've seen this in all the developed countries, and they are growing very, very fast.
Thank you, sir. And now Mr. Sunil again. Sir, you have worked with many industries, including FMCG. What learning from there can be helpful for the people present in this hall, the IFAs?
Yeah, I think as I was listening to my co-panelists, it doesn't matter which industry you are, because we are all in the same profession, making our customers happy.
You are selling tangible, we are selling
Yeah,
intangible.
it doesn't really make a difference. So I would say there's a concept. He said, he asked customers why you are not buying mutual or something for the. See, in FMCG, there's a very good concept which we call it as FDFT. Now, what is FDFT? Now, irrespective whether a customer buys from me or not, I go at a fixed day, fixed time, required on a frequency. I may go weekly, I may go monthly. Mr. Bhatia, who asked me to come here, I know him now for the last more than a year. He sold me, sorry, I didn't say, I bought from him. I bought from him 2 liquid bonds. I'm not a financial product expert, but he said DSP, oh, बहुत अच्छा है, liquid fund कभी भी काम आएगा. So I bought 1 lakh का 2, I bought 2 bonds from him. And I was very happy with him, his service. But after that, I have bought 3 more bonds, 1 more mutual fund worth 99,000, but not from him. He was there with me yesterday and he knows why he didn't. Because he never came to me. I mean, he thought, he gave me one, so, somebody gave the example of bottle khula rakha and chhod ke gaya. I mean, he didn't come to me not once, but so in FMCG, whether a customer wants to buy or not, we go every fixed frequency. So if you probably, I don't know how difficult it is or how easy it is, you must have a fixed day, fixed time appointment with your customer saying, boss, I will meet you every, first week of the month, at least once a day. You give me half an hour, 40 minutes, not to get business, but just to, see how your things are progressing, what are you doing, is there any change in portfolio, you can go with different excuses. And there you don't need to go, I'm saying genuinely, not even excuses, you can go with every month, once in a month for big customers, once in 2 months for mid-sized customers, once in 3 months for smaller customers.